Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I don't know what to do. Good morning, everybody. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. Good morning, everybody. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, February 10, 2022, Thursday, 3:45 a.m. नमस्कार, मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। 10 फरवरी आज का दिन, 10 फरवरी 2022, बृहस्पतिवार, 3:47 Again on to you with talks, same talks, little change in title, and you may note that title is a little different today. Of course it is same, but with little difference. First of all, you can see my credentials. This is my address. This is my certification, competency certification. This is another competency certification. This is membership certificate, and this is one file of coordination. This other file has quality, and I come back to this, that my title, and also let's see what is title. That is quality works, projects, coordination engineering, communication, concrete material, civil field engineering, reliable engineers, work contracts, work safety, engineering designs, construction methods, work claims, arbitration, organization. Likewise, I put these titles here. Certain changes only, not much, but changes are changes. I wanted to just involve something practically, and of course people feel bored when they see same types of certificates all time. I mean to say titles. So I thought to make it different, and it is here. You can say my name plate, name board, and here my point is for email ID. This is my email, you know, and again you can know Suraj_engineer, this identity, and address is that at yahoo.co.uk. This certificate are registrations actually. Chartered Engineer India means registered member as FIE, Fellow of Association of Engineers, and International Professional Engineer India. This is international registration, and this is what my unit is, and this is certification of International Professional Engineers, and this is certification of Chartered Engineer. This is certification of Fellow membership, and this certification, this is not certification, this is my certification of, I'm talking of something, you can say, is also same. Now, for time being, I close the certificates of Chartered Engineer and FIE, and we move on to coordination engineering projects and also quality file. आप सब जानते हैं, थोड़ा हिंदी में बता देता हूँ। क्वालिटी, गुणवत्ता, कोऑर्डिनेशन, समन्वय या वर्क का तालमेल, कार्य करने के तालमेल को कोऑर्डिनेशन कहते हैं, समन्वय भी कहते हैं। समन्वय का मतलब है, तालमेल का मतलब है किसी भी काम करने की कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है, सूचनाएं होती हैं, मटेरियल होता है, जो भी होता है, उस चीज़ को, उस सामग्री को इकट्ठा करना एक समय पे जब काम होना है, वो सब होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि एक भी चीज़ में कमी हो तो काम नहीं होगा। आप मेरी बात समझने की कोशिश करिए। काम कोई भी करना है, उसको करने के लिए क्या चाहिए होता है? सामग्री चाहिए होती है, व्यक्ति चाहिए होते हैं, मशीनें भी चाहिए होती हैं, तकनीक चाहिए होती है, और पता नहीं क्या क्या चाहिए होता है। जो भी चाहिए होता है, नक्शा, ड्राइंग, कुछ भी कह लीजिए आप, कोई भी काम करने के लिए वो चाहिए होता है। अगर वो सब में से एक भी चीज़ की कमी है, काम या तो होगा नहीं, और होगा तो काम में कोई ना कोई उस ना होने वाली चीज़ की वजह से कमी रह जाएगी। ये बात भी समझनी ज़रूरी है। वो कमी कैसे पूरी होगी? काम करने से पहले पूरी होनी चाहिए, नहीं तो वो बेकार है। When we start something, I'm just trying to define what is coordination in simple terms, very simple terms. What is coordination and what is quality? When I say coordination, it's very simple. I want to do something, for example. I have planned to do something, and when I plan to do something, I must keep in my mind what is required for doing that activity or that thing, I say, if you can't understand activity. If we do something, we require some material, we require some worker to do that or person to do that, and we also require some equipment or tool or machine, whatever you can call it, that is going to be used for working that item. And also we need some technical know-how or technology to do that, or some formula to do that, or some process to do that. This is also called whatever information, whatever material, whatever details we have, and whatever we should have, that person who does it must know. And not only that person must know, but also those items must be available, those resources must be available, or we can say those requirements must be available in whatever form these requirements are required or necessary. And before doing that work, if we have all this and we are sure that there's nothing left, then we can start work efficiently, smoothly, promptly. But even if one item is missed, and we think work cannot be done without that, and if we do work without that, work may be done, but there shall be, you can say, there is left certain defects or something. We can say we cannot receive 100% our specifications done, or quality we call it. Quality shall be defective because information was not available, we did not know what was to be done, or something that was included or to be included could not be included in that. So you can say there is some defect in that. It may be seen defect or it may not be seen defect, it's a hidden one. But quality has gone down from plan or from expectation or from what it was supposed to be done. So we can simply say coordination means it says that we have to be alert for whatever we do in coordination, in quality terms. Quality and coordination, if we talk together, it's better. So far I used to talk quality terms only. When I thought that quality, simply people may not know why I am talking of quality, because everybody is not experienced. And my talk is for those who are not experienced and who are experienced as well. Because generally those people who are experienced, they understand everything. But those people who are budding, who are learning, who are fresh, and who expect to know more, who aspire to know more, it's good one should know. But one should also try before asking something. You have to apply your energy. You have to search, you have to find what I should do. If you do not want to find that, means if you want to have food, just cooked food and eat it, that is not engineering. I should say paki pakai khana. You understand that meaning? You want to eat something already cooked. Who does cooking? That is also important. If I say, okay, get me food, I will eat it, and I buy it and eat it, and that's all. That's the only eating activity I have done. But eating is use, consumption. But that work which was cooked, that is also very important. If we try ourselves to do something and extract or draw all resources ourselves, or make those resources, I think that is engineering rather than only cooking. If I say no, I want to do everything myself as far as possible, to an extent it should be, that is my capacity to do, and if I can do myself, that's fine, or if I find some resource for that. But I have to apply my intelligence, my assessment, my estimation. Means when we do some work, it's not simply we just do it. Lot of process goes on before starting some work. when we do some project, it is not one day job. No project is one day job in this world, particularly construction projects and even other projects, production, manufacturing. Nothing can be done, no item can be done in one day. If it is really work item, engineering item, or workable item, you can say operable item. It means if something is useful, if something is not for assembly, if some item is for permanent use independently, that is kind of project or small project or minor project or unit or what we call it. When I'm talking of project, I talk of wider term. इन वाइडर में बड़ी बात करना चाहते हैं. प्रोजेक्ट का मतलब एक बड़ा चीज़ होता है, छोटी मोटी चीज़ को प्रोजेक्ट नहीं कह सकते आप. हमने एक सामने बना के दिखाना है, देखिए हमने ये किया, प्रोजेक्शन डालना है उसका. जैसे आप कहते हैं सिनेमा देखने जाते हैं, अभी प्रोजेक्टर ने क्या, प्रोजेक्शन है वो भी. सिनेमा भी तो प्रोजेक्शन है. आप जो भी देखते हैं टेलीविज़न पे, आप जो देखते हैं कंप्यूटर पे, आप जो देखते हैं, ये सब प्रोजेक्शन ही तो है. और इस प्रोजेक्शन के पीछे कितना कुछ होता है वो हमें समझना होगा. Project and projection are same. When I use TV, I watch TV, or I use computers, or whatever I see, even, we study something, we do something, we have some objective to achieve. It may be small or big, but it is whole. That is project. In construction, projects are very important because these are expensive, cost expensive. These consume materials, these consume other items, for example, use of machine services and use of technology, use of human resources. We all involve those in construction projects, in manufacturing units, in factories, in industries. And these are not just for serving for a moment. These are not meant just for serving, okay, you travel with me, I'll drop there. Or this is train, it goes from this station to that station, you just use this service. That is not project. That is kind of operation and maintenance, you can say, or serving work. Here we are not just doing service. It's not service. We are doing totality. Service is included in that when you use that product. This means we have to differentiate in works and in use, in service, we can say. And that's why when you talk of service, quality has different meaning, coordination too has got different meaning. When you talk of delivery of something permanently, for under your ownership, you can say you become owner of that good, that work, that unit, or whatever you can say, whatever item is that, good is that, product is that, building is that, structure is that. It is called project delivered. Project delivered. And once we say project delivered, means project is completed. And then you can remove project from that item because this is no more project. It has come to use. It has come to work. That project starts working. There's little difference in that. That works is not seen, the project is working, but project serves and project starts working. And that is very important point, we can say. We cannot just take it easy. It means we have to involve complete engineering in that item. And here's what I say, quality and coordination. And we say we have to check where is our quality and where is our coordination. Do we know that? Every engineer, every person who is involved in production, in manufacturing, everyone has got certain responsibility, certain obligation as a technical person, or you can say as a worker, as an expert, as industrialist, as factory owner, as contractor, as builder, as promoter, as engineer, or whatever. Everyone has certain set roles, set duties, and objective is good product, or good, you can say, reliable one. In this title, I am using certain specific terms, and that is, quality works is already there, coordination is there, now communication, and of course I'm using reliable engineers, that's most important terms. And of course you can say I use this work claims, reliable engineers or reliable, what is reliable, all that. If something or some person or some equipment is required again and again and it works successfully, you can trust that, you can use that without any problem. That is called reliable act. If a person can be trusted, that person works, that person can be trusted in every way of profession, or you can say this person is retainable, this person can move, can do what this person says, and this person is not just for a while, it's for long term. You can say it's equivalent to reliable. I cannot say just hire someone for a few days and say, okay, go, thank you very much. That person goes away. But if I require, that person is trustworthy. Maybe I won't say go away. You continue work, I give more work. That person gets more and more job, and more efficiency is delivered. And that's what I say reliable. You know meaning of reliable, but my explanation is not for meaning, it's for something. We say it includes safety, it includes service, it includes durability and whatever else. Even material is deteriorated, it is degraded due to Hysteresis Act. Therefore I say here two requirements are must. One is quantity, means whatever you achieve or you produce, but that quantity should have inbuilt or a kind of inculcated quality degree in that. Every unit of that, every item of that. Quality plus consumption or material inclusion is equal to good. It includes methods, it includes construction, it includes design, everything. And coordination is a supporting system to achieve that. Coordination cannot be measured in terms of any unit, but good can be measured in terms of numbers or in terms of volume or in terms of square meter or square area or in terms of weight, in whatever useful measurement term applied for that. But coordination has got no unit of measurement. It gives you quality and quantity in a successful manner, where all points which are required for that are included. And that point is very important. We have to understand real meaning of coordination, and that's why I say we should not run blindly, particularly those who are educated and professionals. I can't say for a common person, because common person is distant from these. Common person does not actually understand what is quality and what is coordination, but we have to understand that. And those who are educated, qualified, professional, it's their obligation, it's their duty, it's their job to do quality, and for that purpose whatever is required to be done must be affected. गुणवत्ता को पाने के लिए, सही तरह से पाने के लिए और क्वांटिटी के साथ पाने के लिए, क्वांटिटी का मतलब जो भी कितने भी हमको बनाना है, जितने भी आइटम प्रोग्रेस में लानी है वो साथ साथ क्वालिटी के हों, ये भी ज़रूरी है। और उसके लिए हमको सब समझना होगा। हम पढ़ के आ जाते हैं कॉलेज से, यूनिवर्सिटी से, इंजीनियर बन जाते हैं, टेक्नीशियन बन जाते हैं, कुछ भी बन जाते हैं। उसका फ़ायदा तभी है जब हमको कितना काम करना है, किस क्वालिटी से करना है और किस तरीके से करना है, वो सब बातें काम में लाएं। बोलना बहुत आसान होता है, बोलने का क्या है, कोई भी बोल देगा, लेकिन करके दिखाना दूसरी बात होती है। बड़े बड़े लोग बोलते रहते हैं, करते नहीं हैं, और ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो ज़्यादा बोलते नहीं हैं, करके दिखाते हैं, बस यही अंतर होता है। जो क्वालिटी वाला आदमी होता है, क्वांटिटी देने वाला होता है, ज़्यादा बोलता नहीं है, करके दिखाता है, चाहे वो लिखने का काम हो, पढ़ने का काम हो, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का काम हो, प्रोसेसिंग हो, कंस्ट्रक्शन हो, कुछ भी क्यों ना हो ज़िंदगी में, या अपनी ज़िंदगी ही क्यों ना हो। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि ज़्यादा बोलना गलत है, बोलना गलत नहीं है, उतना बोलना सही है जितना आप कर सकें। हवा में बातें करने से मकान नहीं बन जाएगा। जिस तरह से सड़क पे आप देखते हैं जान बिना मतलब का एक्ट। यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई मीन। A person who talks a lot, a person who speaks a lot and does not do anything, I am trying to say that person does not have any quality. Just like now signals are down. Long talks by Airtel. We have this service, we have that service, and signals are not working. They never work properly, smoothly, in a regulated way or in a correct way. Sometimes FPS is down, sometimes signals are down, and that's what I'm saying. Futile act, futile service. Nobody checks what's going on. So where is quality? Then I find same way I'm saying, talking is not worth. Talking is worth if it is supported by, if it results in you can say delivery. I can talk anything, you can talk anything, there is no problem. But if you talk something that gives you something, that is worth, that's workable, that's efficient. Talking in class as a lecturer, professor is something else. That is educational talk, that is relevant to subject. But in talking in a way that doesn't mean anything, that doesn't have any quality. Sometimes you can talk many hours. If you have some subject or object, you're explaining something, you're teaching something, you're learning something, you're practicing something, that is quality one. If we keep point to point or have some links together, which is called coordination, that's why I'm saying coordination is very powerful system which can't be seen but which can be affected. It's like electrical current flow which can't be seen but is effective. Our mind should be that strong, and coordination cannot be done by every person, because one should have mind, one should have knowledge, one should have flow of intelligence, and one should know what is going on, what we are doing, and one should know about subject, about discipline. Only then coordination can be done, and coordination can be done, and it requires a certain system of communication. Whatever system, writing system, message system, reading system, speaking system, network system, language system, or you can say we require clarification in that, we require confirmation, we have information, not information. So many points are involved in quality and coordination for purpose of delivery of requirements, or delivery of you can say scope of work, or delivery of projects, or many projects in one project. That's what I say, all these requirements can't be met just in one go. This is a continuous process. Quality is a continuous process is not only you can say continuous, it requires to be improved. We have to improve every time we do something. And every time we do something, our speed of quality increases, quality achievement, speed of production increases. There may be some delay in start, but when everybody knows this is what I have to do, then you say if there's some lost time also, that lost time can be recovered. And once you start coordination, communication, first time maybe it takes some time, but later on you find that a kind of practical system, automatic system is generated. Maybe it is not mechanical automated, but it is work automated. Immediately pinpoint, okay, I missed something there. And you have to find that. And coordination is that. Or you can explain to someone, this is process for this activity. And that's all someone else can do for you, particularly limited that what you explained for. We can say quality and coordination are therefore very important requirements in engineering, in construction engineering, in design engineering, in production engineering. Maybe there are limits in production engineering, but in construction engineering, there are no such limits. So we can say we have to raise questions to ourselves, and that is for my country as well. That's why I say in my country name is there Bharat India, and it has to speak about. And here speaks doesn't mean speech. Speech is something else. I'm saying speak means it whatever way it is spoken, written speech, verbal speech, pictorial speech, documentary speech, whatever way we do it, stationary picture, dynamic picture, moving picture, whatever medium we adopt, we have to clearly speak, we have to clearly demand something, we have to clearly dictate something, and that's what a country should do. We have millions and millions, crores and crores, knowledge people, educated people, experienced people, professionals, in all professions. And what I consider engineering and medical sciences are prime professionals, prime professions all over the world. Our country is now fortunate enough to have crores engineers and other professionals. Engineering is not behind now. Engineering has developed well. System has not developed well. Professions are developed. Academics are developed. Students are developed. Everything has developed to some extent, not equality, but depending on what profession is that. Just like everybody cannot have equal level of knowledge, which can't be expected, but a datum line is fixed. That this is your approval marks. If you get this much level of understanding, you can be granted to go to further class. And that's what we talk of. Pass at least, and pass in what? Pass in quality. For quantity you produce, that level is required. And that level, unfortunately, or you can say unknown ways, there is not working. And that's what I'm trying to talk about engineers and engineering, that it is very important word where every resource is used, where cost is used, time is employed, time is used, and if we don't get quality, whatever we use, all those resources can go underutilized or wasted. That's why engineers have to care about. When I say engineer term, it's not personal. It is social term. Engineer is a social builder. Engineer is a developer. Engineer is a manufacturer. Engineer is a process person. And therefore, engineer is a mind, you can say. If you want to see mind-based products, then it is engineering products, whatever products. If products are good, quality-based, we can say it's engineered well. Engineered well means quality well. We can call that product, quality person. Quality, and quality means coordination is associated with that. First it is coordination system, and before that coordination design system, and of course with coordination is done, it is quality system, because coordination brings all requirements together and it should work. But question is, do we have that state? Do we have that status now in our country, or we have not. That's the point. So we have to see together, is quality working or it is sleeping? Is coordination working or it is sleeping? It depends upon your view, your insight view. What do you think about that? Sometimes it seems everything is working fine, and sometimes you find yourself disappointed. Oh my God, I could not do this work. I lost time, or this person did not do for me, or I got this inefficiency in that. That's why I say we have to question ourselves. Are we to that mark? Have we achieved that level of expertise? Just saying expertise doesn't mean expertise. My work should prove that I am expert. That's why I say, where are you, my dear? Are you sleeping or you are awoken? If you are sleeping, you will force me to sleep. If you are not sleeping, you are working. You shall be my friend, my dear. So I require you everywhere. Do not sleep. Come on. You are my requirement in my work, in my profession, and without you, we cannot move any further. So I say, don't leave me, stay with me, stay for my country, stay for my society, and stay for best use of natural materials, natural resources. And we are competent people, we can handle you, don't get disappointed. And if you get disappointed means I will be upset, but I don't want to upset myself. Therefore, I want to make your use proficiently in my works. And as I usually say, mind is important in works. Use of mind is very important, and those people who use mind and those who are expected to use mind, every engineering professional is expected to use mind. Every technician is expected to use mind and follow instructions. And every worker is intelligent enough to an extent that work is concerned, or whatever that worker is specialist in, to know that. Therefore, it requires experience, it requires knowledge, it requires application, and every technique must be known to a person who works on that. So permanently we establish ourselves first, we train ourselves first, we check ourselves first, and we can say self-learning, self-movement, self-knowledge cannot be achieved very ordinarily. We have to work hard, think hard. And it's not easy for everyone. For some time you can say, okay, I'm happy, I'm learning. But another time comes, so I have passed so many days, I learned only this. That's what's very important point. So I simply say quality engineering and coordination engineering are very important requirements in life. Quality engineering is life because life itself is based on quality engineering. If you are not a quality engineer, you don't have quality engineering professionals in your country cannot develop. And if there's no system of coordination, or coordination is not practical, you can't find any guaranteed good. And that's where we have to think of. We have to think of working designs, we have to think of manufacturing, we have to think of construction procedures, we have to think of, we have to assess everything. And quality itself is destiny with quantity. I usually say that quality and quantity should move together. And if quality falls, then quantity also falls. Quantity in itself is nothing if quality is not included. That's very important part, and it depends on understanding of everyone. And in this country we can say there can be granted no concession if quality is impacted upon. There can be no compromise in works, and we don't intend to compromise because we say, okay, our system is working and we assume quality comes. We cannot assume because system works, quality automatically works. We can't say that. So I'll now won't move on to this file but shift to other file which is very, you may say, real file currently. That's also file. Will keep amendments, will make changes in both files, think based on what I think about. I'm not using any resource for these files. I'm just thinking. I think always on these, and that is after long talks, many talks, I decided to concentrate on quality and now on coordination also. And as you say, this coordination engineering, project engineers, etc. It's all that kind of requirement fulfillment, coordination engineering, projects and engineers, समन्वता या समन्वय, तालमेल की अभियंत्री, कोऑर्डिनेशन इंजीनियरिंग, तालमेल किस तरह हो, कैसे हो, और योजनाएं को कैसे काम पे लाया जाए, अभियंता को क्या ड्यूटी हो, क्या करें. एंड वी कैन से फॉर रिलायबल क्वालिटी इंजीनियरिंग वर्क्स डिलीवरीज, निर्भर किया जाए जिन पे हमेशा के लिए, काफ़ी समय के लिए, वो गुणवत्ता, वो इंजीनियरिंग के काम क्या डिलीवरी दी जाए, उसके बारे में एक व्यवसायी नोट वृत्तिक द्वारा इस तरह से हो, उसको कैसे समझा जाए. रोज रोज में दिखाने का फ़ायदा नहीं है. आई डोंट वांट टू शे एवरी डे सेम थिंग, बट बिकॉज दिस फाइल इज स्टिल न्यू एंड आई एम स्टिल वर्किंग ऑन दैट. Every day something I do on this just for purpose of it will take some time to complete this file, and I reflect every day what I think. So as I say, there are so many projects I put on this, and I'll talk of these details, but just for your information, I'm trying to show, I'm going to discuss about this in my talk or reference. For reference, please go on and on. I will just discuss very important points only on these projects. On these projects only for reference of what we did in our works. We can say that is that, particularly I'll talk of this later also, to show you now what we have. There are many more, but I did not include every project. I did include only those which are a little important one for development purpose, and so much written about them. I cannot write everything here, but first I'll go and talk of procedures, or talk of what we say that we have to care about. And it's also that we have taken this from Google Earth, using this. Really, these are existing projects and we cannot simply say. But before that, I go on coordination engineering, which I'm talking of, a must have. That's what I'll start with that today. That quality system, not this one. Coordination engineering I'm talking about is something we have to be very clear. As far as coordination engineering, how does it work? And here I have made some changes also in this. Before this, yesterday I was talking of quantity surveying. We talked of something which should be done. We talked of BOQ, bill of quantities, what it should be, how it should be. Then I talked of specifications. You remember, I talked of specifications. What a BOQ, what are specifications, how should that. And I talked of that, how to prepare BOQ, what is the basics of that. It's not just quantity surveying, it's practical work we're talking of. Quantity surveying or estimation or quantification or taking off, everybody knows it's nothing new. Even if you are not educated in engineering, you know something about that. That we have to calculate what is volume, what is square meter, or we have to check. And if a specific point in that we have to prepare quantity, we have to find out quantity and list out in such a way that generally we call it bill of quantity, BOQ. You know all that. For every unit or every component of project, when it's question of a lump sum fixed price contract, contracts are many types. So it's not part of coordination, but we should know basically first we should understand what we are going to talk, and only then because how to coordinate that, how to work it out. And therefore I can say we have to talk about that important point. And it's a part of, I can say, when we talk of what is BOQ, it's simply that we have to prepare some document in which every item that we have to do on that component of project must be included in that, so that we can calculate price if we know unit price of that item. And every item is nomenclatured, every item is defined, and it's ourselves only we have to define something. Means every activity that has to go into that component of that project must be included in that BOQ. And every component, we can consider component or part of that project, every one part of that project should have independent BOQ, bill of quantities, with complete prices, unit prices and amount and all sum of amounts. No item should be left from BOQ. BOQ is very professional document in fact, but it's not given legal weight due to so many reasons. But you can prepare BOQ only when you have reliable experience, good experience, and you know about what items are considered during construction. And just thinking is not enough. We have to gone through some experience about how projects are done, how works are done. We have to link our drawings, our sections, our elevations and various drawings for same project. There can be sometimes hundreds of drawings, thousands details for each project. Those must be understood clearly what we have to do, and if you do not know that what to do, then there is no question even to think of that you can work on quantity surveying, quantity engineering, or take off quantities. It's not possible that way. And to do that, we should have basic background. We should have, first of all, knowledge from education, and we should have knowledge from experience. And I understand, well, if you are a qualified person in educational or in academics, you have degrees or diploma, but you don't have any experience, in that case your education also goes useless. It doesn't work. But if you do practice, you work, whatever the work extent, you know more and more about what you learned. That's why BOQ is very important activity for every project. If you don't have good BOQ, reliable BOQ, generally it must contain all items that are required. And that items you have to work, you have to think, you have to list, and also you have to find quantity of that. And we can find quantity only if you have reliable details, all drawings, sections, elevations, etc. And we should know what are items that are going to be included on that project, and how can I itemize, how can I define that item. I can describe contents of that item, and I have to decide what units are required, and then we have to apply cost of each item. So this is basics of BOQ preparation. You cannot simply refer it to codes because it's not very, you can say, complicated work, but descriptive work, or you can say voluminous work. It's voluminous in the sense that you are bound to do something in this. So BOQ preparation we talked of yesterday, last time, because we are talking of lump sum fixed price contracts, where once amount is fixed for certain scope of work, that amount cannot be changed in whatever way. It means you can't change that because it is fixed lump sum price, itemized. And when we use BOQ, it's only for purpose of supporting that price. That's not purpose for claims. Claims are different, and when you say we have BOQ based contract, that is not lump sum, that can be item based contract. But here we're talking of lump sum fixed price contract, in which not only BOQ is one document, there are all documents in that, all details document, all should be clear, all should be open, and all should be conferred, all should be checked, all should be examined by both parties to contract. Same way we talked of services and we talked of coordination. What it was, we had to understand about specifications. We studied about specifications because specifications and BOQ are related. Specifications and coordinations are related. In the engineering world, everything has to come together and we cannot isolate even a sub-discipline from project. Sub-disciplines are disciplines. If you want the service should be granted, it should be given by this building. This means everything should be comprehensive. It's not now 50, 60, 80 years back we were. It's now current time. Every technology has been developed and therefore efficiencies have been developed and office work can be done easily by using computers, which was not done before. We say specifications therefore very important. Even if you buy a computer, you have to know what specifications you require. And of course, if you ask someone, what should I buy? They'll say, what are the specifications in demand? You have to know the specifications of something. If there's no specification, you can't buy. Some you will buy in darkness. You don't know what I'm going to buy. Specifications, they are very important from specific point of view. And specification, when you say, there can be general specification, then the project specification, there are manufacturer's requirements or manufacturer specification. Likewise, if there's nothing given, you may say that's with the industrial practice that we have to do. According to good industrial practice, that is talked of here in my writing. We can say we talked of specifications, which is, we can say, very important part. The specification not only important is, you can say, without this there's no way that we can move forward. We can't move forward in that, and that specific part is, you can say, it is, you can say, indispensable from every point of view. We can't move forward without that. That specification involves everything, you can say. That specification involves all acts. And I was talking yesterday or last time, and that I talked of specific requirements, and if you remember that, and before that also, I would say that is various building specific. Yes, is there, because preparation of various building specifications. That was my point. How to do that. It should general specifications and your project specifications, and also that every country, or you may say official body, or whatever work is done country, there are certain specifications which are used. For example, in our country there are specifications which are not, of course, these are specific for government, but not for every engineer has a right to specify what is, and we call it specifier. But generally what happens in context in every country, for example, I worked in Qatar, I worked in Abu Dhabi, and in whatever country we talked of, they had some system, they have systems everywhere. When I was in Qatar, we used to follow specifications of that country and those, building specifications. I'm so talking building means, or we can talk about whatever else. Specifications are available for all works. We said that, I repeat that, means in very short, we talked of preparation of various building specifications. That is a very much specific part of work execution, and we know technical knowledge we should have, and we can use of the technical knowledge significantly and precisely, you may say, bifurcations or bifurcating to two, which you can say general specifications and project specifications. These are two divisions here, and general specifications, we can say, it relates in standard specifications, and these are published by system, by departments, or whatever you say. I'm saying system, whatever system exists, and those are understood to be used and implemented by general people, general requirements or contracts. And there are others which are particular specifications means those depends on items, what items we are doing, and maybe these are not generally included, specific items. So those are particularly for a project. We don't want general, we want to include this because of this technology. There can be some specific technology which is not part of general, and we can say okay, we use that. So that is another point. So I just try to say, and also there's another one which we call manufacturer's instructions. You can say sometimes every manufacturer gives innovation based or research based works specific items, and those items have some design basis, some conditions covering that item for purpose of use, and those conditions, you can say those circumstances, if violated or if not cared for, manufacturers in that case says this is beyond my control, I cannot control what you work for. If these are conditions you comply with, then I take responsibility of my product. Otherwise, this doesn't belong to my ownership of responsibility, and I can say that's called, you can say generally, manufacturer's instruction. And this is also a part of project, part of contract, because that manufacturer is not just a manufacturer, that person is a kind of a patented one. It's a patent item that was selling, or you can say it's a kind of copyright. You may say those not copyright, a kind of copyright. I'm saying design right or technology right, which is patented, we call it patent. So second that, then the question is, a requirement is, we have got all the specifications ready. We know items are ready, specifications and items are linked. So we can say we have got a lot of work done on bill of quantities. We have collected, we have gathered the specifications. We refer to, we will use this, we can list out the specifications as part of general work, as part of specific work for this project, because this project is specialized one or rare one, and we go down to that. Or if you can use past documents also you can use. The questions comes in, we have a lot of work, we worked a lot on these items. A lot of time has been spent on that for purpose of project, and project has to move forward. So we say we have to convert this BOQ and these specifications into some documents, which we can see that bid document or contract document. In future we call them contract document. Currently these are documents for purpose of enabling our party or bidder to work out price and sum it. And we can say how to do it, how to convert those details into certain formal documents which can be used for purpose of bid. So it's saying in practice, bidder documents comprise bidder forms or tender forms. Space for contract forms means that is one requirement. I said yesterday also. Contract means what is basic contract, is fundamental contract means it's not commercial even, it's a kind of agreement. That format in which price is also entered is price is blank piece. So we can say we have to provide contract form in that. Each contract form means what is your price, it will be written there, what are certain conditions. So you can see we are talking of that contract form here, and after that contract form we can say it's a standard shall be supported fill support of capacities. Yes, it's then you can say tender forms for qualifications. There are so many forms under that contract form. That is in qualifications, the form for qualifications, form of site superintendents, and qualification for personnel, and the qualification for a head. Site superintendents means site controls or key personnel. It shall be in relation to those, and information to tenders, whatever you can provide for, you have to provide for. And that's why there's so many more documents in the tender and the work. But I'm talking of converting these documents, tender documents. Basically, we have BOQs. So those are not prime document, but it is guide document, and we have also there these specifications which are voluminous, because every branch of engineering, every discipline has its own specification, and this is the most important part of contract. you can say it's kind of what that it is generally referred. If it's not it's general specifications, we have standard documents somewhere, everywhere you can say, and that document itself is considered as a whole, where all disciplines are involved in that document, and it's always very thick document. You can see, I saw the document of Qatar National Building Specification and many other like Abu Dhabi ADNOC and other of QP, likewise you can say in our country as well. Those are very thick volumes, and not sometimes not one volume, or there are many volumes for that. There is civil engineering, there will be, you can say, electrical, mechanical engineering, there can be others. Whatever is going to be worked on that project, all specifics must be there. So you may say, out of those, if you don't want to, or we want to change something on the item, you can change, and that can be said that this is a specific document, is a particular, or for certain part we can say this particular. This general means for general contract, that is, or for a particular means for a particular part on that project, we can use different specification. And also we can say we have to consider wherever manufacturer is involved, it should be manufacturer's instruction that has to be respected for. And therefore we say when you have to document this bid, we have these specifications with us, we have to refer to in contract form that this specification we will use, this design we will use, what is designed there, and whatever schedules are required we have to prepare for. Schedules for material means we have to prepare our schedules of material specifications itself, that we have got these metals to include permanently on this project, and these materials means we have to procure these materials through contractor or through whatever. These materials are from we have, for example, for every item few manufacturers or few vendors, and we have to select out of that, and those options are open. Means we cannot say, or we don't provide some detail, we ask, okay, you propose your details, but our requirements are these. It's same way you can say, either you refer to some manufacturers already, and this means you have studied those specifications and those versions of material. They already know that. That's why you say, I want out of these 3 or 4 specified manufacturers, you get me one. That's meaning of that. Then we have to prepare those documents. These are very fundamental elementary documents regarding what we have to buy. Then we have also to see about some other schedules, like what's your what's your plan? How do you want to do this job? We generally call bar chart, schedule, and ad, whatever. And that also requires all information to be with it. If you don't have the information, we can say quantity and in what period we have to finish this, and how many sections can be done, and that should not even increase workload of our siblings, but also, this was contract document. We can say composition of documents. Then can be what resources we shall use for work, how many machines or equipment we have, and then we can say whatever else it means everything else, and that's why program is built or schedule is built, and we have to show we have so many equipments with us, we don't have this and don't have that, or we have this and we have that. All that is shown, and we can say kind of many, and then we have to say our capacity building have to include in that. So we can say these are very important specifications and BOQ, and you can say or also here you can say our capacity, contractor's capacity, and you can say whatever information we can provide, and that will provide. And we have investigation report also, soil investigation report sometimes is done by owner itself, and that document is available as this is what it declares that site should have this much strength, but it is necessary or not, we have to make sure it later on when we start work, and that's also a part of that, because it's a kind of the EPC contract, it's a design contract, construction contract. We can say then all the bills of quantities are there, and we may say that then complete tender means project specifications, bills of quantities, complete tenders, and complete design specifications and systems for which first class provision, installations, etc. apply for, and that's we can say specifications. I said, and I can't read, yeah, and also bills of quantities, complete tender systems, first class provisions of services, inclusion of technical graphs, or you may say all minute details you have to think of that. And the complete sets and this complete sets of drawings in all respects. And all this we have to do, or we can say in every discipline of engineering we have to fix those documents, which means say tender documents are filled in, and it includes civil engineering, structural engineering, service engineering, architecture engineering, and whatever else is involved is to be involved in that. Bar bending schedule was very important item. It's a technical work, bar bending schedule. If you don't consider that, you can't find quantity of steel, and there's so many items are there, and no, then this all should go to bidder. In fact, bidder has to have help from these documents which already worked on, so that better tender price is calculated, and tender should have confidence that it is in a position to write price, propose price, and that's important one. And in that case, we also say that once the tender is to be done, is supposed to be done, I can say there can be corrigendums also can be issued post issue of tender. This is the process. Questions are raised. You can stand the cases. It has been observed that it's observed the tenderer finalize the tender at a late time. That's usually happens, late time we do it because we don't want to do early, or we don't have information ready with us. So we can say it's a role of tender, and that's very important work. It you have to lump sum price contract. You have to do a lot of work on that, and we have to check all drawings, all details what are given to us, and therefore means. It's the engineer's best effort to prepare, shall prepare to the standard with great degree of accuracy and take its own. Though it's responsibility of bidder also to check everything, but at first instance it's the engineer who has decided to propose or let it go on, likewise, just because of pleasure of someone. We cannot do this. Here requirement is technical, professional, and even if you miss something, we leave it to responsibility of bidder. We always write in those. It's only for guidance purpose of that, but our pages for reflection to people are these. And then we can say shortlisting of tender specific qualification. That's also a very important part because we know what sort of work it is, and we also know that everybody cannot do this work. Only certain people involved in this type of activities can be called for, and we must have record of those. We have record in the sense that party should know what is to be done and what is not to be done. If this doesn't happen, we can say there can be some problem. So we have to shortlist certain contracting companies who have expertise in whatever type, but this product type is based on continuous working, continuous scrutiny, and we have to see which person, which party, which company is best suited. So we can shortlist them. Okay, we can shortlist them based on their capability, based on capacity, or based on their past records, what they have done, and all that is really very very important. We have to think of, and once we have those capacity measure our records, so we can call. Okay, these in sequence, in rotation, we can call those people one by one. One by one means we can call them one by one, what they have to do, what they have to do, and that's an important part of we can say very important part of contracting. Just a minute, please. There's something has happened. Let me see what's happening actually. What's happening is here. Just a minute, please. So I'll explain to you this one. Just a minute. Give some time. Got some message. It's a very critical one. Let me check that message. What's happening? I don't know. Just a minute, please. Do something here. Sorry, gentlemen, there's some problem here. I was just weakness में load कर दो prayer. Sorry, gentlemen, I was talking about the specifications. In this case, I was talking of specifications. I was talking how to shortlist tenderers, and that's a very important point. Then we have to see their qualifications, we have to records, everything, and we have to shortlist them. Otherwise, everybody can come, and there can be many contractors for one job which you don't expect them. So we say shortlisting of tenderers, and that's the important point here. Shortlisting of tenders. It's not possible or practicable. We can say it's not practicable. It's not practicable to for a big you can say big size contracting work to invite all interested parties to offer tender. We need specialist people, you can say, and open invitation shall not work. Particularly for a general contracting work, best approach is to call for pre-qualifications, and this pre-qualification is very important document, or you can say consideration for shortlisting people, shortlisting contractors, for inviting to buy tender documents at interest of party for general contract, which shall mean that selected contractors after tender shall carry out works of all disciplines as a whole, either himself or by engaging subcontractors of, you can say, approved strength. And here we can say for general contract, which shall mean that selected contractor after tender shall carry out works of all disciplines as a whole, either himself or by engaging subcontractors of approved category, holding statutory licenses but at risk of contractor, as contractor shall be answerable and responsible to engineer and employer for proper execution of contract. So that is shortlisting is to be done after giving open invitation for registration of shortlisting, seeking information such as general details of contractor, organizational appraisal, financial potential, technical potential, experience of contractor in contracting, and height of technical degree, you can say, of works executed by contractor, assets of company, running works expected to come, staffing levels, particularly technical assets of company such as laboratories, research centers, whatever engineer deems to know of tenders should be filled or included in appraisal form. Engineer shall scrutinize submitted appraisal of party candidate and discuss with employer owner. Whenever you have to open tender, send letters to all shortlisted parties to know about interest, and if interested, ask them to collect documents. This is what is done. It's what is done, and it's very important part, which is the procedure is adopted, and I don't want to go into details of that, but it's very important one. I mean, these are, we can say, some kind of procedural requirements, but it depends on engineer and depends on owner how they want to give jobs how they want to handle this. And shortening is a procedure, we can say it helps. Otherwise we can say that something may be done differently, but it's the important one. Just need to switch on, please. Just need to press. What is the next layer? So glorious layer. I don't know. Alright, so here what we say is talking of this system, as I said, let us say now what I am saying, I repeat it. About tendering I did, short tendering I did, I talked of POQ, I talked of specifications, I talked of how to shortlist standards, and that was only brief procedure. I'm going to say that once we have got credentials from contracting company, as I said, pre-qualification, which means capacity. Actually, we have to make sure capacity building, that party should be capable technically, commercially, or you can say potential wise, or past profile, which we should evidence that they have got experience in that particular work, because every party cannot be considered for work. If there's a specialized project, a specialized discipline, a road contractor is good for road work, building contractor is good for building work, likewise, or you can say designer is good for design. Means you have to see what sort of work they have done, and if they have done successfully, they have resources, they have potential, then we can say, okay, you are good for our consideration. Engineer can say, owner can say, and we honor your capability, and we will call you when it's required, and we invite them. This happens, and we cannot. It's the question of competition, means competition among capable people, and we cannot give. It happens like that. Suppose you are a surgeon, heart surgeon, and I give work to orthopedic. It doesn't work. So a building specialist should be building specialist. A road specialist, because technology is very advanced, we cannot just skip this requirement. And we can say, once we have done this, we have got a list of contractors, and we have got bid documents, we have got everything ready with us, and we then, if they are interested, subject to that, you cannot force someone. Some people are interested, some not interested, some are not busy, and we can say further process goes on and on and on. And this doesn't go on and on. There is responsibilities also. Let me go through this certain preliminary talk here, preliminary written writing here. This designs. I am just going to repeat it because in past also I have spoken this, but there are some changes. I want to explain also something. It says coordination engineering is a must on every project. Nobody can deny this fact. Coordination engineering is a must for every project, And it's that, so I'm talking on this. Design, construction, and controls. Design, construction, and controls are very interrelated required sections. Designs, construction, and controls. Designs, starting is design, starting activity is design, which is very time consuming. Elaborate calculations, elaborated, what actually you have to do, you have to think of. And designs means you have to decide everything, how this project is going to be done. You can say preliminary stage of design, then it can be developed stage or detailed stage or working stage or whatever you may call it. So you have to give complete details of what is to be done, or you have to give schematic details. It depends on what discipline it is. In structure, in architectural designs, we start with, you can say, then we go to services also at that time along with structures. If we only design something blindly and say, okay, this is done, and then again it comes back from this, a kind of coordination is required for purpose of construction. Designs means every involved professional, let us say architect, engineer or design engineer, civil engineer, or you may say services people, services engineers, or if that building is say for very specific purpose, and that input also we should have. So you can say a combined effort by this technical team, that is architectural engineer, civil engineer or structural engineer, or you may say construction expert, services expert. At least this constitution of group or this group constitution should start with, once you can say an image is available, an image of building is available. I am talking about buildings at this moment. So input from this is important. This team should reach a decision that we have to move together. There is no question of domination or no domination. Question is of quality design. We have to know how our services are going to be fit into this building. Electrical services, HVAC, mechanical, or whatever else. And what sort of structure we want to involve in this building, so that architect is also happy, civil engineer is also happy, structure is also happy, team should be happy, and ultimately it's not happiness of that team which is requirement, it's happiness and satisfaction with pleasure of that owner client for whom this work is done. That part is very important. So designs, you can say, means requirement of everybody is met. This requirements and of course the budget, that has relation. Designs and budget have got direct relations, and budget only decides which designs we have to do, what area we have to consider, I mean to say what coverage of area we have to consider in this design, or we have to do part of this proposal and we have to leave part for future. It depends. Therefore, designs domain plays a very important role in coordination. All these minimum required personnel, as I said, professionals, are required to coordinate from very beginning. Otherwise, you shall miss many points and there will be many revisions on designs and detailing. So at schematic detail I am talking of. If schematic detail in building is good, then you can say further work can be done satisfactory with content, and before that we have to know about site, we have to know about location where this building is going to be sited or to be constructed. What is that? What is soil? What is strata? Because ultimately it is foundation that shall rest on soil, and it is soil that shall carry it further down. And if that foundation doesn't work on that soil, or soil doesn't support that structure, then there can be big question. There may be requirements of piling, there may be requirements of something else which may add, or we may say, oh, no, this site is not suitable for this building. That means it is unlimited consideration here. So we may say design stage coordination. We can't run away from that. And then it goes to, you can say, contracting world, where we have to prepare all details as I discussed just now. Bill of quantities based on designs, that is. Way of working based on design, that is. Means design and how it shall be cared about within stage of design and construction, that's processing, or that is involvement of how to carry out this. Design can be a contractor's job also. It's not necessary that it should be done by without contractor. So we call it, design and build contract, or we call it EPC contract, where you can say design also is an integral part of contract scope of work. So in that case, even in that case, you can say it's not, you can say independent decision of designers, owners involved, contractors or contracting experienced people are involved, and that's why we can say what sort of contractor is required for this. We have to decide at design stage. If it's not means decided which contractor, but what sort of contractor I'm saying, what sort of expertise of that contracting in such types of works. I mean, depending on technology we use for that building. What sort of contract it should be? It should be open or it should be fixed one. That's what we have to decide. And generally we can say for major projects, for good quantity of projects, quantum of projects, specialization of projects, and expected quality of projects. If you make decisions that we have to use this sort of contract and we don't want to change price, and you can say lump sum fixed price system is to be decided, and then how it shall be carried out, how it shall be executed, and that shall be dictated by what sort of contract and its documentation we have. And that's all part of design. It's not only structural design or architectural design, it is designs of carrying out job or execution of job, which way we have to go. Means some people don't realize that all documentation is a part of design, and you can say design gives all documentation. We call it design or we can call it drawing. When we say drawing, it doesn't mean drawings only, project drawings or designs or elevations or sections or whatever. Drawing means drawing of how to do this job, and that we can say it is kind of technical and non-technical statements. Now I am referring to technical statements, and that is called specifications, which we just discussed. What specifications mean? General project or new specifications also we can say. We try this as far as that is relevant to engineering and that suits an engineering philosophy and engineering principles. So all those documents which are non-architectural and non-structural, those documents are also part of contract designs. Specifications writing, we call such person a specifier. It can be architectural items, structural items, civil items, services items, specialist items, whatever items, woodwork, aluminum work, decoration work, finishes work, whatsoever it be. That's called a specification, which can be drawn from general available specifications or particular specifications. And those all decisions making activities are part of design. Because ultimately quality relates to them. Quality is dependent on those designs, those specifications, and then not only specifications, also how shall our quality work, how shall our safety work, how shall our other requirements work. And collection of all these designs, drawings, specifications, and whatever we said, whatever we produce, we include all those relate to go to construction. From that stage onwards, we have to go to construction, where real life of project, real work of project in physical terminology starts with. So that stage we can say construction stage. It's not processing stage, it's not manufacturing stage, it is construction stage of project, where prime design is over, but prime construction work starts, and that is important part of that. Designs, constructions and controls, we therefore call it construction and controls. This construction means professional construction, not or illiterate construction. We can call it professional construction, just like we say professional designs. Professional construction, professional controls. Very important part it is of our lives. We have to be very serious about this, and this is very significant part of project, and we have to be very careful on this issue, and that's why I try to explain it again and again what it is. That is what my point of view is. So I say sorry for little delay. Now I'm talking of designs and construction. Here's what I said: design and construction. Construction at type 2, we started construction at that stage, and construction is about talking also. We can say controls, and all controls coming to construction, physical controls. Those controls are quality controls, safety controls, planning controls, cost controls, and you can say progress controls, or you can say recovery controls, whatever you can say. There's no one, so many I've not written all those here because it's just a preliminary statement. And we can say construction and controls are very important parts here. Construction and controls, which we can say there's no equivalence of that. There's no limits on that. Controls are controls. So here is designs, construction, control. Design is controlled by professionals, and there should be no major problem if the engineers are qualified. And construction is done by construction team, but construction team is not alone. It has got all classes of workers also. And here we can see controls are required, major controls, because you can't control everybody all the same, but that's the mandate that you have to do it. And construction and controls, you can say, are very important divisions in this project. Controls are to be, you can say, you have to concentrate, you have to focus on them. And it's very important. We can't go blindly. We can't go blindly on that, and we have to be with that. What's construction control, we can say. As I said, different departments, different divisions, different sections required to be controlled. As a quality requirement, I said, quality assurance, as we used to pass in past. It has itself a domain, it has itself its own way. And same way, safety controls, which we call SHE, safety, health and environment. And that itself is another domain, which is a continuous process. You cannot deny safety. You cannot say, okay, one moment it's safe, other moment it's not. As far as activities moves, operations moves, construction moves, safety also has to move along with work as well as along with quality. And itself, you can say, qualitative element in safety and qualitative element in construction and qualitative element in whatever we do, means quality and qualitative element both are integrated. Means quality in quality itself, process is quality one or not. So some confusion should be there, but no confusion at all. One is work quality and one is quality work. Whatever work we do, in whatever way, in construction or otherwise, that should be process based, that should be quality based. It should cover whatever is required. Redundant process should go away. Required process should stay, because we do not want to waste time also, because time is cost, time is money. So only those which are useful activities, useful, you can say, input can be employed. Therefore, construction quality and quality construction or quality work both must be understood differently. Controls a kind of elaboration, a kind of detailed work, while requirement is a must. Generally people say controls is an inferior term, lower term. I won't say that. What I understand, if controls are held, if controls are done, system works well. And if controls do not work, system breaks. That's what I understand. That's what I understand. Construction actually makes a system, rather than we say system is construction. Construction is technical, construction is defined because specifications are available, and system cannot work against specifications. System is just relative. System is just relative, but specifications are absolute. So system success depends on what level of controls do we have. If you violate controls, if you don't respect controls, system does not mean anything. You get this point. So what do we say here? Designs, construction and controls are very interrelated requirements or required sections for achieving from successful start to completion of a project. Successful start to completion. It says you have to start with success and you have to end with success, which all must be applicable throughout project stages, with all works be smoothly affected. Very simple sentence it is, but it covers whole scenario. It covers whole scenario, and that is the beauty of this. You have to be serious about it because it indicates complete quality. As it says, quality system may fail, but works quality must perform delivered. And that quality is, works quality is controls. Controls, we have to see that. So what does it say? Again I read, designs, construction and controls are very interrelated. Required sections for achieving from successful start to completion of a project, which all must be applicable throughout project stages, with all works be smoothly affected. All works be smoothly affected. Next is design may be considered oversafe or optimum, but real construction involves actual expenses, contract time. When you say actual expenses, this means cost. Contract time means duration of contract. Financial liabilities means budget, or whatever we own or whatever we have drawn. Also, draft or banking system helps us. That is financial liability, and that is for work, but also additional liabilities in consequences of failure. If you fail in that project, we have got financial liabilities. If we have got design failure, or if we got safety failure, or if we can say some other failure, there is no limit of financial liabilities to be imposed on contractor or owner. Those liabilities I'm talking of. And buildings professional reputation. Professional reputation, I'm saying buildings professional reputation, which can be work reputation, which can be contractor's reputation. Second, but building, we say, oh, this building is quality building. This has been designed excellently well. This has unequal specific designs were used, specific experiments were done, or trials were done. There's nothing that was not done on this building. Every act was done. So it can be said, as in sentence it says, liabilities, we have to understand this. Designs may be considered oversafe or optimum, but real construction involves, as I said, knowledge areas, and which involves actual expenses or costs, contract time or contract duration, financial liabilities and complete liabilities. We can say pre-work liabilities or consequential liabilities after work is done, or work is successfully done or not successfully done. If it's successfully done, it can add to value of project, or unsuccessful, it may degrade value. And buildings professional reputation can be achieved if professionalism is available, if all acts are conducted successfully. That's what these two lines say. It should be a certain motto or objective, we can say. It should be a certain motto or objective of an organization to apply good controls on project, so as to keep in line to schedule, planning being an actual part of control. What we say, it should be certain motto or objective of an organization. It's for everyone. Every organization to apply good controls on project. Only controls can be applied on project, it's right to understand. If you want to apply real controls, this can be applied on project. This cannot be applied post project is completed or delivered. Means during construction you can apply physical controls. That is only opportunity. If you miss that opportunity, your controls won't have any meaning except delivery of substandard goods or works. And if you want to keep in line to schedule or to your device time, your planning, that is also an actual part of controls. And if you do not control well, then there is for sure there's expectation, there's chances, probabilities that your schedule will not come online. It shall not match your time. It will be delayed, work shall be delayed, or we call it, people generally use term overrun, time overrun. Is therefore what you can say here is, as I said, it should be a certain motto. It should be a certain motto, objective of an organization to apply good controls on project so as to keep in line to schedule. Planning being an actual part of controls. Planning being an actual part of controls, and planning is not just bar chart but a thorough understanding of, you can say, perspective of what we do want. Our quantity of work, our contract schedule, and our plan should be in same tone, which would decide strength of resources required. And strength of resources decides how we are going to that. And that resource must be reliable, as I say again. It's very important point here. Or we can say control includes progress. Now what is control? That's also a point. Progress is prime control. What our S-curve says, S-curve I mean to say time and progress percentage. You can say on x-axis this is time, on y-axis you can say it is percentage progress. If you chart it out as a proposal, that is called S-curve. And we monitor that and draw same curve again. There can be different curve, not on the same line. Some points may drop, some may rise. But that is also S-curve which achieve one real S-curve. So we have to say control on progress. Control includes progress, and that includes cost. That also impacts on cost, and which we call cost escalation. And we have to understand value of time, because controls means time control also, budget control too, and yes, quality requirement is a must. No one can say I don't care. And all this means we have to coordinate each point, coordination engineering as well as total engineering. Total engineering also is there in addition to coordination engineering, and whatever engineering we do, we have to deliver, and that deliver depends upon all these factors. And of course safety, risks covering, and delays recoveries. We may say we have to do all this on projects, on whatever work we do. These points are, as we say in knowledge areas, in organization world, cost is important. Cost Cost is important, time is important, quality is important. Systems are to be devised based on that. We have to understand what is safety. We have to understand what is planning. We have to understand what is procurement. We have to understand what is contract. All we have to understand. And then we can say our own understanding would come only from experience, and that to right experience, not design experience. And we can go further and say these are all integrated divisions. These are all integrated divisions, and that's a fact. These are integrated divisions. These are linked. These are connected to each other, just like we see in continuous beam. I'm going to continuous beam. These are all integrated divisions which should move on, we should move in unison to achieve project delivery target. If one is missed or partly missed, you will say your project shall be indent, punched, or some hole drilled in that. So we have to understand integration of all these requirements, which is very, very important. Integration. A well-designed project could be jeopardized. Try to see this line. A well-designed project, the designs have been very nice, very quantity-wise or effort-wise very nice, or you may say actually brilliant design, बहुत बढ़िया. A well-designed project could be jeopardized during construction phase. From budgetary viewpoint, should it not be given due required controls application properly. Means whatever we have done, we spent lot of time, lot mind in designs, and we can be, designs are very impressive, it looks, but during construction phase what happens? We ignore budget viewpoint, we ignore controls. What happens then? Project work could be jeopardized, or project could be jeopardized during construction phase from budgetary viewpoint. That's very important part of engineering and controls. Design can be realized only by very well experienced work professionals who carry out work on site. I'm not talking of speed only. I'm not talking of quantity of work done. I'm talking of standards of work done. Quality that is expected. I'm talking of that. Expected quality. Expected quality and quantity both. And in required time. But a person who has issued even a very good design, but site person is not well trained or not well qualified, generally it happens that those who do not work in projects, they have to work in adverse environment also. Environment can be weather, it can be working, both. A bad worker on site, bad worker who does not know anything about quality, but just to do job. A kind of example it is, a bad worker can spoil your work. and good worker can add to value of work. That is what I am saying. A well-designed project could be jeopardized during its construction phase. From budget review point, should not be given due required controls application properly. Without organizing with full intensities and keeping eagle eyes on project and construction controls, no project can be delivered in time and fixed budget. Without organizing with full intensities, by keeping eagle eyes on project and construction controls, no project can be delivered in time and in fixed budget. That is very important point. Eagle eyes, when I say keeping eagle eyes, this means we have not to have certain wrong infection. So, as I said, no project can be delivered in time and fixed budget if we do not care for all these points. First act of project leader, therefore, we are talking of project leader, therefore should do. We need to say project leader, who is head on site, has on project, and must have decision making power for whatever is required, keeping abreast all these parameters. What should one do? That's the important point. And that is leader. He is leader. What is leader? Project leader. Therefore, must get into allocated budget and then to move project within its defined ambit. That's where you can say role of leadership comes into play. Here, this role is very important to be understood, because, as I said, without good leadership, without dynamic and reliable leadership, no project can be completed successfully. Point is here leadership. As I said, we have to understand and emphasize on this term. And we say leadership, and what is leadership in fact? And leadership is not here what we consider in general life. It is professional leadership, it is work leadership, it's leadership that is going to deliver us. This project and this leadership has multi-phases, multi-actions, multi-points. And when it's a leadership role on particularly on sites, on projects, and sometimes we call this project organizer, project manager, project leader, site agent or project agent, or whatever, by whatever terminology we call it, we must have certain description of responsibility, which we call job description. And there are so many descriptions for project leader, and there can be so many classifications of project leader that we'll discuss in the coming time. We'll discuss that one, because that's also detailed involvement, detailed roles. But we have to understand in essence what we are going to discuss, what we have to complete role we have to discuss on civil engineering projects or construction building projects, or you can say facilities plants projects. There everything is different. We cannot just we will see this, don't worry, on this university. So first act of project leader therefore must be to get into allocate budget and then to move project within its defined ambit. and that is budget I'm talking. If you do not maintain that budget, if you cannot move on expenditure and on this budget, this means that you cannot control escalation of cost, and you cannot control anything because you don't have money. And without money, we cannot move even single day, and that's very important point, that budget control is here, allocation of budget, and that should be considered from control viewpoint from very beginning. Generally, you can say if BOQ is reliable, if BOQ is, you can say, perfect or near perfect, we can just use same cost of tender amount we bid, and that amount is to include with its your other taxes. So that amount is very important one. We cannot go beyond that, and it depends on controls. And if we skip that and escalate everything, then it's really very unbecoming, unexplainable situation. If it is not marketed well, if discipline is not applied well. So I say one should remember that once money is lost, there exists no possibility to retrieve that lost money back. And that's to say, analysis tool can be acquired. Analysis tool can be required to operate with complete declaration to carry out or conduct controls. And that tool generally is analysis. We can call it a tool, or it's an intelligence. You can say intelligence, power of intelligence, or intellect. Power of intellect we can call it. Power of intellect. Analysis tool, analytical tool, can be required to operate with complete dedication to carry out or conduct controls. All required sections, as I said, I'm just trying to explain, to deliberate on each point again and again, so that something is kept in your mind. All required sections, as we said about, explained about, all required sections related activities import total dedication from quality input within such disciplines in actions as well as in works. What we have to say, it's not only saying, it's not only just speaking. All required sections, all required necessary sections as given above in discussion, related activities import total dedication from quality input within such disciplines in actions as well as in works. Whereas all such acts certainly demand involvement of engineering coordination activities at each and every ongoing detailing review and to ensure constructability issues. I think you got this point. We have to relate all these sections to activities, as I said, design, construction, planning, quality, safety, whatever is there. That is dedication from quality input. Every section has to work according to its own quality, including quality section. Whereas all such acts certainly demand involvement of engineering coordination activities. Engineering coordination activities conductable for each such section at each and every ongoing detailing review and to ensure constructability issues worth and their work to ensure constructability issue realizes. issues arise. That's what we have to make sure. And also, it can be plainly said, that engineering coordination is an only formula, or it's only a discipline to reach workable, consistent, and competent solutions, to achieve successful performance of every activity to be conducted to avoid possible delays. Plainly said, I said, it can be plainly said or stated that engineering coordination is an only formula, is an only chart, or a discipline to reach workable, consistent, and competent solutions to achieve successful performance of every activity to be conducted to avoid possible delays. These are only few points for just to understand what should be done, and it's very primary discussion. We can now little move further, and we can say that this is minute calibrations, and we will add many to this while doing speaking, thinking. We don't need any monitor for this purpose. So we may say what actually we have to say. That's very important point. We cannot just close our eyes, as I said. We can't just close our eyes. Let's say that our intent is, we say, coordination. We start with coordination. It's not clearly understood. It's a fact. Coordination is not clearly understood by many professionals and of course others in its right required spirits as intended for. Sometimes I forgot some words, so I speak while reading. Coordination is not clearly understood or picked up by many professionals and others in its right required spirit. Fact remains that without conducting adequate and efficient coordination in professional engineering, fact remains that without adequate and efficient coordination in professional engineering, works cannot be successfully accomplished. Realization of point it is. You have to realize a statement here, that is important point. As I say, fact remains that without adequate and efficient coordination in professional engineering, works cannot be successfully accomplished. That point we have to really understand. And as I say, if I could claim, it shall be right to admit that coordination failure leads to engineering design and construction failure. It's very, you can say, rational point. Very much rational, or you can say directly proportional to quality, or directly proportional to what we should do in profession. It's not a claim actually, but it could claim. I could claim that. If I could claim, I say, shall be right to admit that failure coordination failure leads to engineering designs and construction failure. So point here, if I could claim, so we say for many engineers, issue of coordination remains very delicate, and such engineers try to avoid involving in coordination complexity and just expect someone else should give final working drawings for work executions. Okay, it's not bad. It depends on one's capability and one's efficiency, or you can say one's lead, how much one can go, how long can you travel yourself, how dynamic you are. Depends. Nobody can force, and also ambition you have in engineering, because it's not alone power given by someone. I say it is your own efficiency that can make you or can reject you. So when I say, if I don't involve myself in coordination, it's not somebody else's fault, it's not anybody else's fault, it's my fault. It's my job, it's my profession to work and give work. And I cannot say, oh, coordination is not my job. Okay, if I say coordination is not my job, then I have to answer, what's my job? This means we have to understand. Sometimes, titles don't answer. It is responsibility attached to that title, and that is to be answered. I can give you example, say, what I say, sometimes we use term design engineer. Design engineer. So what is design engineer? We have to understand, using terminal design itself, that we say design engineer, when this person is design engineer. This means this person is responsible for designs. This person is responsible for designs. Same way we say this is site engineer. What does it mean? It means same way as we say this person is responsible for design, this person is responsible for site. It doesn't say which activity site. All site activities it means. This person is responsible for these site activities. So we can say we have to understand first what is coordination, what does it mean, what is design, what does it mean, what is site work and what does it mean, or you can say what is site engineering and what does it mean. Therefore, I can say, again I repeat, for many engineers, issue of coordination remains very delicate, and such engineers try to avoid involving in coordination, complexity, and just expect someone else should give final working drawings for work execution. And when we say engineering coordination, this is not ordinary coordination, this is not managing coordination, this is doing coordination. There's a difference. I have seen people, I heard some people, the only thing just go to this chair, to that chair, this room, to that room, to their juniors and ask them this work, and that's just coordination. No. Coordination is whole engineering. In fact, it is total engineering, which you can say. Total engineering along with defined engineering, and which total engineering depends on certain requirements that we receive from government. We have to understand this point. Value of coordination, we have to understand this from these 3 or 4 definitions. Therefore, you can say coordination. For many engineers, issue of coordination remains very delicate or dull evidence this time. For many engineers, the issue of coordination remains very delicate, and such engineers try to avoid involving in coordination, complexity, and just expect someone else in middle of coordination complexity and just expect someone else should give final working drawings for works execution, and they should not worry about that. And that's where the problem lies in. It's the responsibility of engineers at whatever level you are. It's duty they have to, if you are not able to decide on coordination, then you should always question and always give solution so that people can understand you, that you are hard for them. You are amenable to services that can happen in future. So we can move to next part, and we have to understand, we have to realize meaning of coordination. It cannot be explained in simple language, it is implied language. You can say coordination cannot be defined in ordinary language. It requires understanding how to define it. So we can say, in fact, experienced ranges from around whole world, not only this country. I'm talking generally whole world. A scenario, majority engineers of population do not have next interest in engineering nature. So we can say then, I've experienced the engineers from around whole world scenario. Majority population do not have interest in working on coordination activities due to essential requirement of on concentrating or focusing constantly and engineering so it's very simple here that you can say majority engineers do not have interest in working on coordination activities due to essential requirement on concentrating on focusing constantly on engineering and in-depth technical issues. It's a very important point. Is it raining? Let's check, is it raining? Perhaps. So we can simply say it's not something different. We can simply say that that people, engineering people generally, I'm saying generally, not all, I say majority engineers do not have any interest in working on coordination activities due to essential requirement on concentrating or focusing constantly on engineering and in-depth technical issues involved. I am talking of non-IT engineers. In fact, I'm not referring to IT, particularly I'm talking of civil engineers. Even other engineers like electrical or HVAC, they don't feel such problems because they have to depend on civil engineering details. So it is, you may say, majority civil engineers including structural engineers. I'm referring to that coordination is boring for them, or you can say they think it's time wastage, because it's very important job, but it depends on your considerations, value of considerations, as I say. So that is main cause. Concentrating on details, connection of details, links of details, and you can say having some interdisciplinary knowledge is also a requirement, and that comes only from your basic education as well as from experience-based real education. So what I said is relevant. In fact, I have experienced that engineers from around the whole world scenario, majority engineers population don't have any interest in working on coordination activities due to essential requirement on concentrating, focusing constantly on engineering and in-depth technical issues involved. In-depth technical issues means you have to go into more and more reviewing, or you can say reviewing or understanding what is required in specifications and what are details which are to be done again and again, which are to be thought again and again. And sometimes, of course, it is very boring but essential. Problems are not counted in numbers but in considering gravity of situation. I'm not saying how many problems are there. I'm saying power of those problems or difficulties created by those problems. I'm not saying only problems, but impact of those problems, impact on those problems on our works, or you may say gravity of situation, and also complexity and strong decision making related to whatever work items are involved with. That's the important part. Coordination definition is for sure necessary to be understood for its real meaning, or you may say for knowing its real meaning, so that no mixing results in. And that mixing means a state of confusion in work. State of confusion in work, and state of confusion means indicates that right activity related to work cannot be carried out at right time. That is only problem. You have to wait for right time and that right activity should be done, but when there exists some confusion, when we are confused, some element of confusion exists, and this means incomplete information is available even if one information is absent. But we do something based on that, and that's what I say. That is confusion state, and if you use that for work, this is really harmful. So mixing means a state of confusion in work, and state of confusion meaning indicates that right activity in relevance to work cannot be carried out at right time or required time. And in construction world, in particularly structural, or you can say structural, in construction in particular, structural and buildings construction, no limitation of drawings and details and detailings exists. There is no limitation. There can be whatever number of drawings, or we have planned some drawings, or we don't have planned, that depends upon us. And when it's more and more expansion of work, in that case, that competency list is not available. No problem, but we can assess what should be. We can assess what it should be, how many drawings are going to be used for this. You have to know that. In construction world, and in particular structural and buildings construction, no limitation of drawings and detailings exists. Even for a small building or structure, categories of drawings and details remain same as if It could be a major building. It could be a major building. In construction world, in particular, structural and buildings constructions, no limitation of drawings or detailings access, even for a small building or structure. Even for a small building or structure, categories of drawings and details remain same, as if it couldn't be major building. It depends on designing professional about how to apply drawings and detailings so that construction personnel should not refer back all times, every time for either confirmation or clarification of various issues items where issues involved. But it happens, even there is a significance of designer in that case. It is made it's made sure on contracts certain procedures which should be adopted, and those procedures are then important one, means we cannot do contravening those procedures, and means we can say it depends on designing professional about how to apply drawings and detailings so that construction personnel should not refer back all times, every time for either confirmation or clarification of various issues involved. Coordination can therefore be defined in a way that all branches of engineering and all disciplines involved in ongoing activity must be clearly described and detailed in, so that no information is left out that could hold progress on activity or part of whatever activity. That is very important definition of, or you may say part definition of coordination. It says clearly here that coordination can therefore be defined in a way that all branches of engineering and all disciplines involved on ongoing activity must be clearly described and detailed in, so that no information is left out that could hold progress on activity or part of whatever activity. This is coordination. All information must be used from all disciplines on that activity. No escape, no concession. And besides, no information is left out that could hold progress on activity or part of whatever activity. Even if one small information, even if one information is missing, is held without having adequate details, or is not formally confirmed, activity can stop. activity can stop or it shall be carried out based on either correct or incorrect knowledge. Based on either correct or incorrect knowledge possessed by site team. Possessed by site team, which work could be considered in contravention of what designing or incorrect knowledge possessed by site team, which work could be considered in contravention of what designing team contemplated. Consequently, it shall be certainly leading to cause formal errors. I repeat, if even one small information is held without having adequate details, or it's not formally confirmed, activity can stop or it shall be carried out based on either correct or incorrect knowledge possessed by site team, which work could be considered in contravention of what designing team contemplated. Consequently, it shall be certainly leading to cause formal errors. It also remains a fact that no subject or no branch of coordination engineering is available for imparting professional education at any either diploma or degree level, and even if it may be considered up to doctorate level. It's a big point for everybody. We don't have any subject at any level that can be named coordination. That can be named coordination. And that's a drawback in education, you may say, or now it is drawback, because no single discipline can work without getting associated with other disciplines. But that coordination works in profession. If it is not available in university degrees, so it's an important point that we have to confer on this. We have to make it a point here that when some subject is not available in education, there's a problem with that, but it's not a problem as far as learning is concerned, because it is mostly technical and relevant to many branches of engineering or disciplines in engineering, and every moment is considered varying. There is no set formula on this. There can't be. And we just can say, we only can say this is what we can call it, something to do without basis, without academics. We have to teach ourselves depending on project, depending on details, and we have to teach others. And when we say we teach ourselves, means there must be some certain I can say problem. So very big point it is that we have to educate ourselves. There's no other way. When there's nothing available, we have to learn ourselves, because if we cannot learn, if we cannot write ourselves, how can we expect those people not in practical field? They can tell us what to do. It is no logic at all, but it's happening everywhere. That's the point here we have to be very careful about. It says that, again I repeat, no subject is available, no subject about coordination is available. This means we have to do it ourselves. We have to write procedures ourselves. We have to study each and every page, as well as every page, and we have to So it's a very important point. We have to allot ourselves this job. Nobody can be our teacher. We have to be our teacher, and our workers have to be our students. Then we can say another point is very important also, and that is absence of this subject, and that is also said we have to do ourselves, and we have to do ourselves exponential work on that. And we can say this state of absence of this subject, absence of inclusion of this very significant subject, within engineering program explicitly indicates and evidences that education professionals do not understand value of engineering coordination discipline. Well, it's not something you can say. It's a fact that in our educations professionals, you may say they are not artistic one. You understand? It's very, moreover, it cannot be called educationist fault. It cannot be called educationist fault, but because they do not remain active in field of engineering professions and therefore not subject to attaining practical field professional experience. That's what it means now, is that we can say. Moreover, it cannot be called educationist fault because they do not remain active in field of engineering professions and therefore not subject to attaining practical field professional experience. This next point says, coordination engineering is an unlimited world. Coordination engineering is an unlimited world and it can expand. It can expand its vistas to unlimited areas. Coordination engineering is an unlimited world and it can expand its vistas to unlimited areas involving many disciplines in one branch of engineering and also importing various branches of engineering depending on what class of works are affected. What class of works are affected. We have also seen an era of coordination activities when there used to be no electronics related technologies, or we now call it information technology, but wherein lot voluminous works were carried out on civil, electrical, mechanical and architectural engineering coordination. Even in that era, works of coordination were very much time consuming due to fact that even drawings used to be manually drafted on drawn. Coordination engineer would have been appointed had incumbent professional been experienced on considerable size sites, and whosoever professional having just one engineering discipline knowledge could not be successful for efficient working on site, and progress consequently either marred or errors caused. Very important point to consider here, and that is coordination engineer. Coordination engineer would have been appointed, I repeat, coordination engineer would have been appointed Had incumbent professional been experienced on considerable sites, and whosoever professional having just one engineering discipline knowledgeable could not be successful for efficient working on site, and progress consequently either marred or errors caused. Such unhelpful situations Such unhelpful situations force professional engineers to work long hours to have firm grip of design details. Such unhelpful situations forced professional engineers to work long hours to have firm grip of design details and correlated one discipline with all other disciplines one by one. Of course, consuming considerable work allotted time is because of old effects, because of no supports from that we have conferred. It was completely different world of engineering. All activities were done manually, and in some, if you go past, sometimes even calculators were not available. So no supports were available, we may say. An understanding of coordination, definition, and respecting description. Just let me place few seconds, few minutes. I'll be back. let us continue this and see how it works. And I said little gap in this, but we reached a point that is at number 22, an understanding of coordination definition and respective description makes certain difference on works. An understanding of coordination definition and respective description makes certain difference on works. We may not call it teamwork for sure, because coordination cannot be done effectively by team, but certainly by perfect getting through all related details available of schematic design as well as on other documents. And of course, professional market prevailing conventions or so-called good industrial practice means teamwork is not basis for coordination, but certain available details on schematic designs and other documents, and what is profession, what is market convention, and industrial good practices, all should be combined together to find best possible answer about what to do, what is best way to do some work, some act. Therefore, team is not a requirement. Mind of perfection, mind of expertise is essential to understand scheme, combination with practice, combination with what is intended for, etc. And of course, members of project team are required to extend engineering support to engineering coordinators, without whose input no coordination activity will move, or no coordination activity can move. Whereas engineering professional involved on every coordination has to involve personally on every provided information for purpose of corroborative ratification based on total scrutiny as well as necessary examination or investigation of all details. This is really interesting paragraph. As I said, of course, members of project team are required to extend engineering support to engineering coordinator, without whose input no coordination activity can move, whereas engineering professional involved on every coordination has to involve personally on every provided information for purpose of corroborative ratification based on total scrutiny as well as necessary examination or investigation of all details. Coordination is never ending activity. Coordination is never ending activity, which therefore cannot be considered time fixed activity. It depends on design mandate and scope requirement along with other contract documents such as engineering design specifications and required input from special materials producing manufacturers such as documented instructions and material data studies. Important point also here, very important point, really one, that coordination is never ending activity. It is a continuous one. No time fixed activity can be given to this, no time fixed activity. It moves with work. It depends on design mandate and scope requirement along with other contract documents such as engineering designed specifications and acquired input from special materials producing manufacturers such as documented instructions and material data studies. Complexities of technicalities and structure of resources have certainly created additional complexities when many disciplines or branches of engineering work together, forcing attention from coordinating professional to look into all requirements, contract related and industrial related, as well as course mandate related. It's very important points everywhere, we can say. Very important point everywhere it is, and we may say आज की बात में जो मैंने आपको बताया, जो दिखाया, जो समझाया, वो लंबा चौड़ा तो है लेकिन अत्यंत आवश्यक है। हमने कहा कोऑर्डिनेशन, जिसका मतलब समन्वय या तालमेल बैठाना, सभी प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करना, काम को कैसे किया जाए, सारी डिटेल्स को, ड्राइंग्स को, स्पेसिफिकेशंस को, डिटेल्स को, या जो भी उसके लिए आवश्यक है, सबको मिला के एक साथ आगे चलना। अगर प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, गलतियां हैं कहीं, तो उनको पकड़ना, ठीक करना। सजा देने की बात नहीं है यहाँ। बहुत सारी ड्राइंग होती हैं, बहुत सारी डिटेल्स होती हैं, बहुत सारी स्पेसिफिकेशंस होती हैं, उन सब में एक समन्वय बैठाना कि हम जो भी करें वो सही तरह चले, क्योंकि एक भी गलती सही काम को भी गलत कर देती है। हमें समझना होगा कोऑर्डिनेशन, संतुलन बैठाना बहुत आवश्यक है। जहाँ पर कई कई डिसिप्लिन काम कर रहे हों, यहाँ तक कि एक ही डिसिप्लिन अगर हो, एक ही डिसिप्लिन क्या कहेंगे, एक ही विभाग कह सकते हैं, नहीं विभाग नहीं, एक ही लाइन, जैसे सिविल इंजीनियरिंग डिसिप्लिन है या सिविल में स्ट्रक्चरल डिसिप्लिन है, ऐसे ही डिसिप्लिन एक हो, उसमें भी गलतियां होने के चांसेस होते हैं, अवसर होते हैं। गलतियां का मतलब उन गलती से नहीं है, गलतियां जो ओवरसाइट में हो जाती हैं, जो ड्राइंग बनाते वक्त हम एक दूसरे से मिला नहीं पाते हैं जल्दी जल्दी में, या एक आदमी ने कुछ बनाया, दूसरे ने कुछ बनाया, कई लोग लगे हैं, ड्राफ्ट्समैन लगे हैं और नहीं कर पाए, और इतना कोई सोचता नहीं है कि एक एक चीज़ चेक कर लें, कहते हैं यार चलने दो इसको, बाद में देखेंगे, कोई कंप्लेंट आएगी तो बात करेंगे, कोई क्वेश्चन आएगा तो देखेंगे। ऐसा होता है, आखिर सब ह्यूमन ही तो हैं। तो उन उन चीज़ों को, उस सूचनाओं को जो दब गई कहीं या कट गई कहीं, टूट गई कहीं, उनको निकालना, उनको ढूंढना और फिर उनको जोड़ना, यही तो कोऑर्डिनेशन है। इतनी सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है प्रोजेक्ट पे, उन सब इन्फॉर्मेशन को पढ़ना, उनके नोट्स को पढ़ना, उनकी डिटेल्स को पढ़ना और क्या चाहिए ये देखना, उन सबको एक जगह बैठा के मिला के फिर समझना कि हमें करना क्या है। हमें करना क्या है, ये बहुत आवश्यक है। ये लंबी चौड़ी तो बताने के लिए, लेकिन जो सारांश है वो ये है कि ये व्यवस्था, ये समाधान हर हर काम पे, हर आइटम पे, हर विषय के आइटम पे, हर डिटेल्स पे, हर कंपोनेंट पे हमेशा लगातार चलता है, चलते रहना चाहिए। कहाँ पर हमको, क्योंकि हमें काम सही करना है, हमारा जो एक ही है उद्देश्य में काम सही करना है, और काम सही तब होगा जब हमारी विवरण, हमारी डिटेल सही होंगी, नहीं तो काम सही नहीं कर पाएंगे। ये बात हमें समझनी चाहिए। और कोऑर्डिनेशन इसी को कहते हैं। आखिर कोऑर्डिनेशन क्या है? यही तो कोऑर्डिनेशन है कि हमको काम सही करके देना है। कहीं कोई चूक रह गई, टेक्निकल चूक रह गई, कहीं कुछ ऐसा हो गया जो शायद डिज़ाइन के समय हम नहीं कर पाए, तो उसको हमें अब करना होगा वर्क के समय, क्योंकि हम नहीं चाहते वर्क गलत हो जाए। अगर ड्राइंग में कहीं डिटेल रह गई, कहीं सही डिटेल नहीं मैच कर रही, तो साइड पर कौन कौन सी ड्राइंग दिखेगा, ये भी एक बड़ा इशू बन जाता है। इसलिए आवश्यकता ये होती है कि बड़े बड़े काम के लिए, बड़े बड़े कंपोनेंट के लिए, जहाँ छोटा मोटा काम ना हो, वहाँ सारी डिटेल को मिला के स्टडी की जानी चाहिए। ये नहीं कहना चाहिए मेरी ड्राइंग ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, तुम्हारी ड्राइंग ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, ऐसा नहीं है। हमें जो काम करना है वो ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। कभी आर्किटेक्ट वाला कहेगा नहीं मेरी चलेगी, वो कहेगा मेरी, नहीं, किसी की नहीं चलेगी और सबकी चलेगी। जो गाड़ी के 4 पहिए चलेंगे वही चलेंगे, 5वां पहिया नहीं लग सकता उसमें, एक पहिया निकाला नहीं जा सकता उसमें। इस बात को समझना होता है। हमें काम करके देना है और सही करके देना है, और वो काम परफॉर्म भी करें, ऐसा करके देना है। इस बात को समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और अगर आप समझ जाएंगे तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है। यही मैं समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि कोऑर्डिनेशन क्या है। हर आदमी को समझ आना चाहिए कि कोई भी डिसिप्लिन अपने आप में पूरा नहीं है। पूरे तो हैं, लेकिन क्योंकि उन्हें दूसरे डिसिप्लिन से मिल के चलना है, इसलिए कोई भी डिसिप्लिन परफेक्ट नहीं है। एक दूसरे से एक तरह का परिवार हो जाता है, आप कह सकते हैं। सारे डिसिप्लिन आ गए एक प्रोजेक्ट पे, तो वो प्रोजेक्ट की डिटेल्स उनका परिवार हो गया, और वो प्रोजेक्ट तभी सही चलेगा जब उनकी सारी डिटेल्स सही होंगी। ये बात का बहुत बड़ा मतलब है, और हमें इसको समझना चाहिए। इसको हम हल्के में नहीं ले सकते। यही बात कहने के लिए मैं इसको समझाने की थोड़ी हिंदी में कोशिश कर रहा था। और मैं आशा करता हूँ कि आप इसको समझ रहे होंगे और इस पर आगे कार्रवाई भी करेंगे। मैं यहीं इस बात को क्लोज़ करूँगा। अब सोचा कोऑर्डिनेशन है, मैंने तो की है, उस समय भी की है जब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स वर्ड नहीं था, कंप्यूटर्स नहीं थे, फिर भी करते थे। और आज कंप्यूटर्स हैं तो शायद ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि कंप्यूटर्स में एक बार एरर आ गई तो उसको निकालना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है। इसलिए ये बात, कितने भी सॉफ्टवेयर आ जाएं, कितना भी कुछ हो जाए, उन सब से कुछ नहीं होने वाला अगर हम इस बात को नहीं समझते तो। कुछ सेकंड आप देख लीजिए इसको, मैं 2 मिनट में आता हूँ। आप फाइल पढ़ना चाहते हैं तो पढ़ लीजिए, ऐसे तो आपकी इच्छा है। शुरू शुरू में क्या कहा है आपको देख लीजिए, तो आपको कुछ कुछ ज्ञान इसका मिल जाएगा। ओके, थैंक्स अ लॉट। अब हम चलते हैं और बाद में बात करेंगे इस बारे में, देखते हैं क्या होता है। We'll see what to do with that. All right. क्या कर रहे हैं, चलिए आगे। ओके, दिस इज